The human envoy stood before the Zirath Council, his voice steady yet resolute. Daniel Riker had been chosen for this mission not just for his diplomatic prowess but because he embodied humanity's belief in peaceful coexistence. As he spoke, his words painted a vision of unity, of shared progress, of a galaxy where differences didn't lead to bloodshed but to mutual growth. Yet his audience, the imposing Zirath leaders, sat unmoved. Supreme Commander Volker, seated at the head of the council chamber, leaned forward, his crimson eyes gleaming with contempt. "Peace," he scoffed, his voice a growl that echoed through the vast hall. "Your kind speaks of peace because you are weak. You plead for mercy because you lack the strength to survive." The chamber erupted into cold, mocking laughter from the Zirath elite. Riker remained calm, his hands gripping the edge of the podium. "Strength isn't measured by the size of your fleets or the weight of your weapons," he replied. "It's measured by the courage to build bridges when war is easier. Humanity isn't here to beg. We're here to offer a path forward together." Volker's expression hardened. He gestured sharply to the guards flanking the chamber. "A path forward," he sneered. "The only path for your species is extinction. Let this serve as a reminder to any who would dare challenge the Zirath Empire." Riker's face betrayed no fear as the guards seized him. He met Volker's gaze with a quiet defiance that unsettled even the seasoned commander. The room grew silent as the envoy was dragged to the center of the chamber. Before the assembled leaders, and live-streamed to billions across the galaxy, Riker was executed. His last words, spoken with unwavering conviction, sent a chill through those watching. "You'll regret this." The broadcast reached Earth within minutes. Across the planet, people watched in horror as one of their brightest was struck down in cold blood. Families gathered around screens, anger and sorrow etched into their faces. Riker's sacrifice was not just a loss, it was a challenge. In the halls of the United Earth Federation, leaders convened in an emergency session. The president, her voice trembling with grief and fury, addressed the council. "The Zirath have not just taken one of our own. They've declared that our lives, our values, mean nothing. They seek to crush us beneath their heel. But they have made a grave mistake, they have underestimated humanity." The room erupted in agreement. The decision was unanimous. Diplomatic channels were closed. Supply chains pivoted to full wartime production. Humanity, which had spent decades trying to avoid conflict, now embraced the fight with grim determination. As the meeting adjourned, the president lingered for a moment, staring out the window at the bustling city below. Her voice was barely audible, but her resolve was clear. "For Riker. For all of us. They'll learn who we are." The news of Daniel Riker's execution spread like wildfire, igniting a fire in the hearts of humanity. Across Earth, the response was immediate and unified. Factories that once built spacecraft for exploration now churned out warships and weapons at an unprecedented pace. Engineers, scientists, and technicians worked around the clock, their focus razor-sharp. Humanity had never been more united. Project Alios, a secret initiative years in the making, was brought to the forefront. It had been humanity's contingency plan, a safeguard against alien aggression. Now it became Earth's spearhead. The fleet, designed with cutting-edge plasma weaponry, adaptive shielding, and advanced stealth capabilities, was equipped to challenge even the most formidable adversary. Scientists integrated quantum AI systems, granting human pilots unparalleled precision in combat. What the Zirath saw as humanity's weakness, its limited resources, was now turned into its greatest strength, efficiency and innovation. But this wasn't just a war of technology. It was a war of resolve. Across the globe, enlistment centers overflowed with volunteers. Soldiers, mechanics, medics, and even civilians with no combat experience offered their skills to the cause. Families bid tearful farewells to their loved ones, knowing the stakes but unshaken in their belief that this fight was necessary. Humanity's collective spirit shone brighter than ever before. Meanwhile, allies from unexpected quarters began to emerge. The Zirath's brutality had not gone unnoticed by other alien species. Smaller races, long subjugated and oppressed, saw humanity stand as a chance for their own liberation. They sent encrypted messages to Earth, offering intelligence on Zirath weaknesses and sharing technologies that complemented human ingenuity. It was a tentative alliance, built on mutual desperation, but it hinted at something greater, a rebellion that could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Among those preparing for war was Riker's family. His wife, Elena, stood before a photograph of her husband, her hands trembling but her eyes resolute. "They think they've silenced you," she whispered. "But your voice echoes in all of us now." Their daughter, barely old enough to comprehend the loss, clutched a small model of a spaceship, her expression a mixture of fear and determination. For them, and countless others, this wasn't just a fight for survival. It was a fight to honor those who had been taken. As the first wave of ships assembled in orbit, Earth's leaders prepared for what would come next. The president addressed the fleet in a broadcast, her voice carrying the weight of a species rising to meet its greatest challenge. "We didn't choose this war," she said, her tone unyielding. "But we will finish it. For every life they've taken, for every freedom they've denied, we will fight. And we will win." The broadcast ended, but the resolve it ignited was undeniable. As the fleet launched into the void, humanity knew this was not just a battle for Earth, it was a battle for dignity, for justice, and for the right to exist as more than just a footnote in the galaxy's history. The Zirath Armada loomed in the void, an overwhelming display of firepower and dominance. Their fleet stretched across the stars, a wall of warships bristling with weapons, ready to crush any opposition. Humanity's forces were outnumbered, but what they lacked in scale, they made up for in strategy. The human fleet emerged from the darkness, their movements precise and calculated, the product of months of relentless preparation. The first engagement came without warning. Earth's ships, utilizing advanced stealth technology from Project Helios, slipped behind Zirath patrols and struck hard at critical supply lines. Precision strikes crippled key ships in the enemy formation, sowing confusion among the Zirath ranks. As the battle erupted into chaos, humanity's tactical edge became apparent. The Zirath relied on brute force, overwhelming their enemies with sheer numbers, but Earth's fleet fought with intelligence and creativity. AI-assisted targeting systems allowed human ships to outmaneuver their larger, slower counterparts. Swarms of drones overwhelmed Zirath defenses, striking weak points with surgical precision. Cyber warfare units hacked into Zirath systems, disrupting communications and blinding their targeting arrays. The Zirath, accustomed to overwhelming their foes, found themselves struggling to adapt to humanity's unconventional tactics. Yet the cost was high. A human frigate, the Resolute, took a direct hit while shielding a vulnerable medical transport. The ship's captain, understanding the stakes, ordered a collision course with a Zirath cruiser. The Resolute detonated its core in a final act of defiance, taking the enemy ship with it. Across the battlefield, stories of sacrifice unfolded, each loss a reminder of the stakes, each act of heroism fueling humanity's resolve. As the battle raged, a turning point came when humanity's new allies arrived. The oppressed races who had suffered under the Zirath for generations made their stand. Their ships were smaller and older, but their courage was undeniable. They struck from unexpected angles, exploiting the chaos humanity had sown. Together, they created a coordinated assault that fractured the once impenetrable Zirath formation. Amid the chaos, humanity unleashed its trump card. The Sol Invictus, the flagship of Project Helios, entered the fray. Its massive plasma cannons cut through Zirath dreadnoughts with terrifying efficiency. Protected by experimental shielding, it absorbed firepower that would have annihilated lesser ships. The Sol Invictus became a symbol of humanity's ingenuity and determination, a shining beacon in the dark void. The final blow came as the Sol Invictus targeted the Zirath command ship. With precision targeting and a coordinated assault from the fleet, the massive vessel was torn apart in a cascade of explosions. The Zirath fleet, now leaderless and disorganized, began to retreat. Humanity and its allies pressed their advantage, driving the once mighty armada into full retreat. Victory was theirs, but the battlefield bore the scars of the fight. Wreckage floated silently, a testament to the lives lost and the price paid. Despite the cost, humanity had proven its strength, not just in firepower but in unity and resilience. The Zirath had underestimated them, And now the galaxy would never forget. The Zirath Empire was in disarray. What had begun as an arrogant display of their might had ended in a crushing humiliation. Their once feared fleet, now shattered, limped back to their territories. Word of their defeat spread quickly across the galaxy, shaking the foundations of their dominance. For the first time in centuries, the Zirath were vulnerable, their image of invincibility irreparably tarnished. Back on Earth, the celebrations were tempered by grief. The cost of victory was visible in every corner of society. Families mourned loved ones who had given their lives in the fight, and the wounded filled hospitals, bearing the scars of humanity's greatest battle. Yet amidst the sorrow, there was pride in what had been accomplished, pride in proving that humanity would not be broken. The president addressed not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. Her message was clear and resolute: we sought peace. We offered cooperation. And we were met with cruelty and arrogance. But when the Zirath sought to destroy us, we rose. We fought not just for ourselves, but for a future where no species must bow to another's tyranny. Let this serve as a reminder: humanity will never kneel. The message resonated far beyond Earth. Alien species who had long suffered under the Zirath saw the human victory as a symbol of hope. Inspired by Earth's defiance, rebellions began to spark across Zirath-controlled territories. Oppressed races took up arms, emboldened by the knowledge that even the mighty Zirath could fall. Earth quickly became a rallying point for these movements, offering aid and support where it could. The galaxy, once fractured and fearful, began to shift toward unity and resistance. Amidst these galactic ripples, personal stories of closure unfolded. Riker's family stood on a platform overlooking Earth's orbital shipyards, where a new flagship was being christened in his honor, the Envoy Riker. His wife and daughter, holding back tears, unveiled the ship's nameplate. It was a moment of both grief and pride, a tribute to a man whose sacrifice had sparked a revolution. His daughter, now inspired to join Earth's diplomatic corps, vowed to ensure that no envoy would ever face what her father had endured. As humanity rebuilt, the lessons of the war shaped its future. The United Earth Federation initiated programs to strengthen alliances with emerging powers and foster cooperation among the galaxy's species. Humanity had not only survived, it had become a symbol of defiance, resilience, and hope. In the quiet aftermath, as Earth's cities and skies returned to peace, the words of Commander Ayla Torres echoed in the minds of all who had fought. They thought we were weak. They thought they could break us. Instead, we rose. And rise they did, not just as a planet, but as a force that would shape the galaxy for generations to come. The Zirath had made their move, but they had never expected humanity to fight back like this.